Okay, I'm just going to make sure that my render settings and everything is set up, and then maybe do a little camera animation. So, to go to my render settings, I go to this little icon right up here, and you'll see if I put my cursor over it, it says display render settings, and it looks like a little director's clipboard um, with a little gear on it. So, if we're doing Maya hardware 2.0, name, let's say, just go say ties, oops, logo, anim, because we're going to spit it out as an image sequence. And I'm going to choose the file format as let's use a PNG. That'll give me an alpha channel so I can put whatever background I want. And then the frame animation name.number.extension with a frame padding of 4. So name.number.extension, frame padding 4, PNG image format. And I have to decide how many frames of my animation. So frame 1, this is my time slider. Now, right now it's just showing up to 200, but that's just a lot of dead space at the end. How long do I want to stay on that animation to see it? You don't want it to be like boom and then it immediately disappears before you can read it. So you do want it to sit there for a few minutes, well, not minutes, but a few seconds. So let's say 150 for right now. To 150. Renderable camera, we're going to come back to this because I'm going to make a new camera to render out of. And then the preset, I'm going to do HD 1080. So that's all under common. Under Maya hardware 2.0, depth peeling. I could turn on this ambient occlusion. You notice when I turn this on, it makes it a little darker in certain areas. That's more of an aesthetic. It basically says, what it's doing is it's saying that there is less light that is going to be in these areas, so therefore I'm going to make those areas darker. So it kind of adds. So that's before, and this very consistent shadow. Here, you notice where there would be less light, it gets a little darker. Turning that on isn't too bad. I could crank it up if I wanted it. Anytime you start cranking things up, speed can start to slow down, but that's okay, unless it's just unbearable. I'm not using hardware fog. Motion blur I do have turned on. I'll just leave that. And I remember I have the anti-aliasing turned on and samples set at 16. And that's giving me what I want. Now that I've set my resolution though, how do I know what the frame of the movie is going to be? So that's where we get into, if we go up here, there's a field chart, safe action, title, safe. And basically this is showing us the area that is going to render. Okay. So if I say like, oh, resolution gate, that's the resolution that I know that I'm going to want to pull that back. And this is what will render based off of that. So in other words, if I were to go in, then we get a much better idea of what's rendering. I'm just going to do a file, save scene as, before this goes kind of wonky. because it just gave me a, hey, you've got way too much stuff open. So close you. Yes, I do want to save that. It's always a good idea. Save, save, save. No, we don't need to save that. And yes, we'll save that. This will just free up a little bit of space for me. Yes, we know. Yes, we know. Clear clipboard. So we're trying to kind of free up some RAM, even though I have a lot. But I'm also running on 3 different monitors. So I've got that. It's giving me that space, and this little guy shows me my alpha, so everything that's out there. So we can see the amount of space it's going to give me. That's actually kind of nice. I'll turn it back to RGB. I just might want it a little more centered when I'm done. So if I did it like this, right? And then if we hit play to see what that looks like. Cool. Alrighty, so let's say we have that. I'm just going to hit save real quick. Yes. Now, what I want to do actually, if I'm prepping to render this puppy out, I've got my settings set up, and I want to do that image sequence, is I want to make sure if this was all I wanted, I would just render it out by going in and doing what's called a batch render. And that's where it'll render out all of those frames one by one. And I would go to my rendering menu. So with the top left, click rendering. And under render, you would say batch render and just click on that. And then it's going to actually render out every single one of those frames. Now, because we could see, we can do a guesstimate if I'm rendering this with Maya hardware. With the settings that are set to, it's taking about 2 seconds per frame. So I'm rendering out 150 frames, and you just kind of do the math of how long that's going to take. 2 seconds per frame, 150 frames, and then that's not really going to be that long. That's going to go pretty quick. If you have a lot of weird settings turned on, lots of things going on, and it's starting to get to like 5-10 minutes a frame, and you have to render out 100 or 200 frames, you're going to be there for a while. You're going to have to let it sit overnight or something to that effect. So that's why we're using hardware render. But right now, as it is, even if I went to Maya software and did a render, at that resolution we could see it's taking longer. It's not horrible, but definitely it's taking a little longer. And we could see it looks subtly different. That's 15 seconds. That's still not that bad, but you can definitely tell a difference. Let me do that again. So I'm going to keep this image so we can take a look at it. I'm going to render hardware 2.0. So that's Maya software, 15 seconds. That's hardware 2.0. 2 seconds. Both look good, slightly different, depends on what you're doing, right? So that works out pretty well. So we're at Maya Hardware 2.0. Um, the last thing I wanted to show just for that, at least in this portion, would be if you wanted your camera to animate. Okay. Right now, looking static, that looks cool, but suppose I wanted there to be a camera panning, like, going from left to right while it's putting that stuff in, or maybe rotating down while this stuff is playing out. Boom, 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 boom. And then the camera is just rotating like this into the position that you want it to be in, right? So that could be a few different things. So we know that this is our end, our end, and this is where we want it to be. And I can always turn on different things to kind of see what the resolution is going to be like. And there's a resolution gate, field chart, so I could see how far it would be from the sides. Um, safe action. The safe action is essentially the area you don't want things to be past this because you never know what screen or what they're going to be looking at when they're rendering this out. So if it goes out further, if you have like your logo is like this, it might clip off the whole top of it. So that's where you want to make sure everything stays within this area. That's your safe action. And then title safe. That's where if you're just going to have titles and stuff, you'll notice you don't want it. Anything outside of here, once again, you don't know, depending on what format or what machine or what monitor they're looking at, whether it's going to be in there safely and they're going to see what they're supposed to see. So these are just things you want to consider. You want to try and you actually don't want things pushed all the way to the end. You want there to be some space. All right. So right about there, I would say would be, fair enough. Just depending on how you want the look to be. Is it dead center from there? But in either case, just showing you that, and that's on any camera. I want to make a new camera. So I'm going to go view, actually no, panels, perspective for a perspective camera and say new. And now I'm looking inside of this new camera. I still have to turn on those things that I'd want to see. Right, so if I want film gate, resolution gate, then I'd want it to be like this. Well, that looks neat, but it doesn't give me what I want. So let's say I wanted this camera to go across like this, and then it's just going to stop. So in other words, say right about here, this camera is going to be right where it is, focused on it in the center. We'll zoom out just a little bit because we want to give a little bit of that space to it. And I make sure my camera selected. I might have clicked away and said, oops, I'm not there to key my camera. So if I go right up here, select camera, and now with the camera is selected, I just press S to set a key, and now that camera is locked in that position at that moment in time. And then let's say right about here, I want it to be over. And so I'm just panning over a little bit and I press S. So now if I hit play while I'm looking through this camera, let's see what happens. Cool. And I'm thinking, you know what? That's I'm thinking I want it to start moving way over here. So I'm going to hold down Shift, left mouse click, drag to select that keyframe and move it over all the way over to here. Now let's see what happens. So now let's hit play. And that's where the T hits, right at 100. Boom. Let's say at 100, I'm going to set another key for the camera, go up a couple of frames. Oops. Zoom in, set a key, a couple of frames more, zoom out, set a key. So let's see what that looks like. Hit play. There we go. Poof. It just kind of hits in place. Now we could have it fade out or do whatever we wanted. And I say, okay, I like that. I like everything about it. I'm ready to render this out. I go back into my render settings. I make sure, since I've created a new camera, this is important, that I choose that new camera perspective 1 as my render camera. Otherwise, I'm going to render from the default wherever it's at. Okay. And now I simply go to render, rendering, render, batch render, and just let it go. It want to save, you say continue, which basically is yes. And then it's just going to start on its merry way. Rendering with hardware 2.0. And as it starts to go, it'll has to calculate, set up everything that it needs, and then it's just going to go. Make sure that you have your project set, because it's going to want to, in the beginning, like we went over, because then it's going to actually do what it needs.